Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from SegaCDUniverse.com. That clap is not going to probably happen ever again. I apologize if it jarred you out of your seat. I am mimicking my good friend Brad, aka ProBMan5. This is a video response to his video. Yeah, he didn't do a response. So Brad and Shock16, two of my good friends, have this little joke, I guess they throw back and forth, called Factoid. It seems, from what I've listened to Brad talk about, that they say factoid when in fact they're speaking of an opinion. So they break balls with one another like, such and such is the best movie ever. Factoid. Now, that may not be the case, but because it's a, fact for him, it's a factoid. So, pretty funny. So I wanted to get involved and do a video response to Brad. He did a Factoid episode 1 video. The first, I think it's 4 or 5 questions, looks like 5. The first question was something about pushing yourself or something happening with a female where you got shut down. So Brad told a funny story about vomiting on a girl he liked in, I think he said, elementary school. They had to fucking cut the grass right now. Really. Alright, if it gets... Be right back. Okay, so I'm back in my normal dining room here, not the living room, so I'm further away from the grass cutting until they get into the backyard, so we might have to move again if this goes too long. Anyhow, Brad had 5 questions. The first question was something that happened to you where, you approached a girl you liked after a long time and you got shut down. So, all these are kind of personal things, but they're pretty funny. So the first one was, I lived in Florida, so I must have been under 12. I'm going to say around 10, and I don't know what grade that is, but I always was a grade ahead of, not what I should have been, but since I was born in December, I went into I think kindergarten at 4 instead of 5, so then by the time I got out of school, I was 17 instead of 18. So anyhow, I think I was about 10, so I probably was in like, what is that, 6th grade or something maybe? I don't know. 4th, I don't even know. I have no fucking clue. So, there's this girl, Rose, this little, Native American Spanish looking girl. I have no idea what the fuck she was. And, I had this big crush on her. And, I see her every day in school, and I'm like, I gotta say something. And I was very shy then. Now I'm much more forward. I kind of just speak my mind. If someone doesn't like it, okay. I'm not rude. I wouldn't say something off base that I'm not supposed to say. I know when to bite my tongue. But in terms of people, like, you look very pretty today, or, hey, want to get married. So, I decided to write a little, letter to Rose. I'm like, I'm going to hand it to her after school. So the day comes, I'm all nervous, I get out of school, they didn't have hallways, it was kind of like just outside, connecting each room to outside. It's in Florida, so everything's hot, it's not like you have to get blocked from the weather, really. So, and I hand her this letter, and it says, Rose, and I think she opened it, and I don't want to think I said, I love you, because that's very forward, but it was more like, I think you're so pretty, blah, blah, blah. She looks at it, and fucking throws it on the floor and walks away. Heart was crushed. That bitch, Rose, if you're watching this, fuck you. You probably don't even remember it, but very amusing in hindsight. Back then it wasn't. And then you have to go to school the next day and see the girl. So it's even worse because you're like, oh, she didn't even acknowledge that I liked. She wasn't even friendly about it. Fucking weirdo. She's probably a lesbian. That's what it was. She kind of looked like one, actually, now that I think about it. Nothing wrong with that, but it makes me feel better. So, next question. Did you ever have to fight with someone over a video game? This was a funny question. I really couldn't think of anything like this. I know a lot of people have stories. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see my ugly face. A lot of people have stories about fighting with resellers to try and get a game they really want, or them putting a game down for a moment, someone grabbing it out of their hand or whatever. I don't have a story like that, luckily. So, most of the time when I go and get games or something, it's like just me or whatever, nobody really, I go to thrift stores or whatnot. So, the one time I sort of thought about this was, I'd worked in GameStop from age 18 to 21, on and off. And there was this big fat guy that I worked with that I didn't really like. I thought he was kind of a piece of shit. He was supposedly stealing from the store. He was, he had a fiance, and supposedly he was having an affair with this. Is it an affair if you're not married? I don't care, it's an affair. He was cheating with this younger girl who was kind of trampy, who worked there, and he used to keep her on and give her hours because he was sleeping with her, supposedly. That I can't confirm, thank God. I wouldn't want to see them naked. Ugh. And he's standing there, and someone brings in, I think it was either a Dreamcast or a Genesis and Sega CD. I want to say it was the Genesis and Sega CD, but I don't recall. And we didn't take them in at that point. So someone goes, yeah, I don't really want this. You guys could just have it. I just don't want it around anymore. Which is like gold mine, because I mean back then they were cheaper. They were a lot cheaper, the Sega CDs, but they were still hard to find. And I only had one Sega CD. I always like spares. Till this day, I like getting spares if I find them. So if anyone has one they want to get rid of, let me know. Either model. So anyhow, I'm standing there behind the counter, and he takes it. And I find out, and I'm like, damn it, I really would have fucking loved it. They know I'm like the Sega guy in the store, I have all the Sega Dreamcast, the Sega CD, I collect all the Sega stuff. Why would he do that? He was kind of like funny about it. So my friend Rob, who I'm still friends with, what's up Rob, I'm going to send you this video. He turns around in I think a meeting, and he says, Dave, why don't you just give Mike the Sega CD? I think it was a Sega CD, again, I can't remember if it was that or a Dreamcast, I think it was a Sega CD. And he goes, but, I don't know, I'm the manager, why can't I have it? And he's like, because Mike's the Sega guy. If someone fucking traded a cheeseburger, we'd give it to you. We all died, and I got the Sega CD, so if I could slow clap that, Rob, and people were behind me clapping, I would. Kudos to you for sticking up for me and getting me a Sega CD. Much love. Third story here. ProBMan5, Brad, his next story was an awkward or depressing moment, or like during a sport. So, two stories on this one. I'll make it as brief as possible. When I lived in Florida, my parents tried to get me involved into sports. They knew I liked video games and really like more of a homebody, which is what I still am. And I really wasn't a big sports guy. The only sport I really got into was basketball. But everyone played baseball. So they got me into baseball. I fucking hated it. I couldn't hit the ball. I couldn't focus on the game. I didn't care for the rules. I just don't like baseball. So we had some kind of like practice game or something. I don't think it was a real game. And the ball flies straight up in the air. And yeah, I think the coach was hitting them in the air so people could catch them. That's what it was. So I'm going like this. I'm about to catch it. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm like 10 or 11. The ball comes down, goes between my glove, and bashes me really hard in the neck. I fucking saw stars. Now it may not have looked bad, but it was painful and really, really, I felt really stupid afterwards. I don't think I ever played baseball again in my life. So that was one story that I found kind of funny involving sports. The other story was later on. We had moved back to the Bronx. In the Bronx, you could play baseball on fields and stuff, but it's primarily cold most of the year, part of the year. And because it's an urban area, everything's basketball, or at least, most of it. So I go outside every day and play basketball with these guys that were just pieces of shit. They were just very, very rude to me, nasty, they made fun of me all the time. But I didn't go off my block. It was the only place to really play basketball without going too far, going into a bad area. So I played basketball with these guys, and they were just assholes to me. So this group of black guys walks by. I think everyone who I played with was like white. One was Spanish. I don't think anyone was black, but that's not the point. These guys were a little older than us, but not much. Maybe we were like 15, they were 14, and some of the people my age, some a little older, and then these guys were probably like 18 or 19. So they walked by slow, and they said, "Hey, you guys want to have a pickup game?" And I'm like, "All right," but I think they had 3 people or 2 people, and this fucking long. Anyhow, this fucking all right, whatever. These guys walk by, and they stop. And they're like, "All right, let's get a pickup game going." So the teams are uneven though. So they said, "All right, well, we don't like Mike. Fuck him. Send him over." Thinking like he's gonna do shit, and we don't like him, so we don't want to play with him anyway. So it's me and these like 2 or 3 black guys I don't know. And they're older, you know, than us. So there's a kind of weird feeling because they're older, so you think like, are they gonna be like rougher on us, like push us around? But I was on their team, luckily. So we're playing, and I pull off this fucking shot, man. Like, I played the hardest I could play. I pulled off this shot, like kind of a fadeaway type, falling back type thing. And it was like a beautiful shot. It was totally out of nowhere. And they were like looking at me like, what the fuck? Like, they were getting all pissed off, the other team. And something happened where I think I rebounded the ball and tossed it to one of the other guys, and they like dunked it or got it in or whatever. We won. As soon as we won the game, this fucker comes back with this goddamn lawnmower, I swear to God. You gotta be kidding me. So, as soon as we won the game, one of the black guys goes, oh man, nice job, nice job. And he walks over and he does something in the professional NBA. You've got to be fucking shitting me. Something in the NBA that is done frequently, but never happens in real life. So, he comes over and he goes, oh man, nice job, you did great, good job, you know, you did this, you did that. And he fucking smacks me in the ass. Not gay, but like, you know, boom. So hard. It was like, I was excited because I was glad we won, but I probably was like, oh, like limping because I was like, my ass hurts so bad, I'm gonna have a bruise tomorrow. It was the weirdest thing, but it was just such in like the heat of the moment of the game, or the post game, that I understood why he did it. You know, it was like buddies high-fiving. Why he slapped me in the ass, I don't know. Again, this wasn't a professional game, but it was fucking funny, painful, and a weird memory. The next question is, when did you freak out most while playing a video game? This one time, and I've told this story before, so I apologize if you've heard it. This one time, my friend Jessica and I are sitting there playing Monster Madness on the 360. It was kind of when the 360 came out, I think, maybe like a little after launch. And it's like a top-down isometric dungeon crawler, but it's very clunky and kind of hard. So we're playing it, and we get to this boss. It's a grandmother with cats flying around her, and you have to like hit the cats and then like run up and hit the grandmother. Some stupid shit. We died like 50 times. I got so pissed off. I lifted my fist up. I punched the chair, and I never do that. I usually punch myself in the leg. I'm surprised my legs don't have bruises. And the fucking arm of the chair cracks off. It was like a computer chair, you know? So that was pretty funny. And, you know, kind of weird to break something in front of someone. And finally, tell us a story about how you felt smart and dumb at the same time. This I really don't have much of a story for. I can't recall of anything specific, but I do know on a fairly normal occurrence, when I'm with my in-laws or my parents and we're talking, I'm very bad with like geography. So you could say, oh, I'm from such and such. I'll have no idea where it is. I can look it up and kind of get an idea, but I'm just not good with that stuff. I don't know why my brain just doesn't work well that way. So I'll always say, I can fix your computer and do all this crazy shit on a computer. But when it comes to something simple like that, or something simple like tying your shoes, like I'll make a joke, I'm like oblivious. So that's pretty much it. I'm sorry that I fucking switched the camera back and forth 6 times because these assholes. I guess thank God I don't gotta fucking cut the lawn myself, right? But thanks guys for watching. It's Vampire Mike from SegaCDUniverse.com. And Brad, thank you for the questions. Very cool questions, very fun. Keep them coming. And you got me as a replier, responder, whatever. Be good.